Alright, hopefully this works this time. Sorry guys if anything isn't working right. Doing my very best here. Um, this is BB, and he's going to be showing off the Kong Genius today. Are you ready? Hey Ben, is that good? Okay, take it. Good boy. Um, BB is going to, as I just mentioned, be dealing with the Kong Genius today. Um, Now, the Kong Genius is probably one of his favorite toys of all time. Um, it's one of the old standards that has served him well since he was a little baby, even up till today. And even after years of playing with this, it is both practically brand new, and it is still quite very much a favorite that gets him very much excited whenever comes out. All done, Ben. Good boy. Um, and he's kind of figured out a workaround to the traditional approach. He's to try to keep it going longer and to make it last better. I stick a little bit of peanut butter inside. I like to add a little bit of liquid peanut butter on the inside when it's empty, so the interior is coated, and then fill it with a little bit of kibble, like half full kind of thing, and then add a bit more peanut butter to the kibble mass, and then fill the rest with kibble. Um, it I find it's the most effective way to keeping it in the Kong. However, that's resulted in Benny deciding that there's better ways to get the treats rather than play the game, and that is to sit here and nurse it while he sticks his tongue in and tries to clean all the peanut butter out so that it makes the kibble fall out easier. Um, it's actually not that bad as an idea. It just wasn't exactly the intention when it was created. Um, as you can see, you can even see his tongue coming out the other corner, other entry. So I'll show you in a minute once. Um, Clearly, my initial foray was a mistake, but you'll get an opportunity to see it in a minute. Me fill up an empty one and him play with it in the more traditional way. But as you can see through that X, his tongue is like practically getting out the other end. Which, yeah, so until Benny decided to do this with it, the peanut butter was a pretty good approach. However, eh, it's not turning out to be as an effective a method as I had hoped it would be for the video. Oh well, son of Eve. You live and you learn. But he's working hard to get every last crumb out of there. Uh, and he'll be cleared that out, I'm sure, pretty soon based on how fast he's moving through it. So, on the next go, we'll fill it up differently, and he'll have to play with it the traditional way. Um, he is so smart, it's scary. Anyway, so this is the Kong Leo, which basically has a vase-like shape. The Kong Genius is a series of toys by Kong. They make the snowman type toy, um, where suffice to say they're a puzzle toy. They're supposed to be played with differently than he's doing right now. Just gotta change things up just to make me stay on my toes and know not to think I can expect what's gonna happen. Um, yeah, so basically you fill it up with food. They throw it around, bounce it, roll it, etc. to get the food to come out. You can choose varying sizes of food. You can also adjust the size of the holes. Um, uh, and as you can see, it has a pretty unique shape, that vase shape. And you see those two, there's two. There's one on the end there, where you can see that tongue flashing some more. And then, of course, there's the other one where his tongue is currently getting in from. And that um, is both to allow you to fill it up and clean it and let the food fall out when they're playing with it. But it also works to take the end of the Leo there. I'll try to get a good shot for you guys. And good boy. That. What are you doing with me? Sorry guys, I'm doing my best here. Like I said, not of a top videographer at that end. Not the end he's licking, basically. The top of the vase, effectively. Sorry, doing the best I can, guys, for you. The top, sorry, if you take the top of the vase shape, you can actually take another one of these toys and shove that top end into the X, and it will connect to the other Kong, Genius, and via the X and vase shape, allow you to interchange and interconnect a bunch of different Kongs to create progressively more complicated puzzles, so that instead of merely having to just get it out one hole, they actually have to work it through one of the puzzles to the next puzzle and then get it to fall out of the hole. And progressively more complicated. It's basically infinitely adjustable and upgradable and continuable. Even if the dog quickly solves it and has no difficulty, you can quickly increase the difficulty just by popping the toys together. So it's another way you can also extend the playtime, because they don't last forever. And depending on how big the hole, how small the food inside, it could last as little as a minute to a few minutes to 10 minutes to an hour. It really depends on those kind of simple factors of size, but and how much the dog's actively engaged with it. After I bought these, I realized that in addition to the way they're intended to be used, as I've described, you can also use my pop bottle toy that I've shown elsewhere, where you melt some holes in a pop bottle and put a few kibble inside and then put the lid back on. And smaller holes, less of them is better than more and bigger holes. And then you can actually connect them in the same way that you would connect the vase shape of the traditional Leo. You would connect the neck of the Coke or whatever pop bottle that you are drinking. Get out of there. Manners. Benny. 1, 2, 3. Out of there now. Manners, yeah. I know, the smell is very, very intriguing. So yeah. You can take pop bottles and other toys of differing shapes. I found another one that's a tube that I can connect. And so through that I can also make more interesting and unusual toys. I can make it all variable and new, so he doesn't get stagnant playing the same game over and over again. Now, I know Kong has a pretty good reputation in terms of their product durability, and I don't really have any complaints about durability of this product per se for Benny. He kind of respects his toys in a basic way. He has no inherent desire to destroy everything he touches. Because I provide adequate opportunities through destructible toys, he tends to leave these kind of toys alone. He gets more value out of playing the game than he gets out of just destroying it. However, my first service dog, Axis, my pet staff, without a doubt, she would have taken one look at this and went, "Oh, I know how to do this," and bit it in half, so that she could have dumped all the food I would have needed immediately. She wasn't stupid in the least. She was a very simple-minded dog, and she knew what she wanted, and she would go right to it. And I would never be able to give her these kind of toys, especially alone. Now, Benny, I know, after years of working him, and knowing how he behaves when I'm not there, and having done a lot of work training him, I know that Benny will be fine. He won't go after trying to destroy the toy, but not every dog is like that, and you got to be aware of that. So with most dogs, you can probably get away with supervise, and as long as you're there to redirect away from destruction and into playing the actual game, which is what we're going to do here now. Hey, Ben. And it appears that he's gone through it. As you can see, he's no longer so fixated on it, and it's pretty much now pretty near empty. You can see some of the peanut butter spots where he hasn't totally gotten it all. Those will pop out when it's being tossed around, though, so I'm not too worried. But this is the overall shape of the toy. You can see through to the other side if I look through it just like that. So there's these two X shapes, and this part of the neck here fits into this like that. So there's another Kong Genius. Good boy. Thank you. Down. That they call the mic. Stay, Benny. Good boy. Now, the mic isn't a bad toy. It has many of the same advantages of this toy. But it doesn't have the vase shape, which is the connector mechanism for interconnecting the toys. So if you're only going to get one, you should get the Leo. But it's totally fine to get some mics and add them to the toys, add some variability and complexities to the game. But just be aware that the mic shape actually doesn't have the physical capacity to interconnect, besides as a passive connector. So, you could say connect a pop bottle to it, but you wouldn't be able to connect another mic to another mic. And if theoretically something happened to your Leo here, so that you're playing the game a bit myself right now, trying to get them to stay in. Boy, I thought it. Long story short, the holes that I cut out of this are a little big for this kibble that I now use. So It's annoying, but it is another reason why I would recommend not cutting the to increase the size of the opening, like I did. I used a hot knife. Yeah, that's why it's smooth and the way it looks. I would actually use heat now. Gentle from a distance. Don't do stupid things, guys. I'm not liable if you decide to try to melt it on your stove or something stupid. But I would gently heat the material and then move, like press the flaps in a bit to open up the sides of the hole and let it cool so that, hey, you gotta wait to, anyways, to get it to be larger if your kibble needs it to be larger, your treats are larger. So, Benny, you ready? So, Benny is ready to go, as you can see. He knows right away what this game is, and he's right on it. This is the way the game, or one way to play this particular game, for instance, is intended to be played. This technique is just rolling around. You can also use it like as a fetch toy, and throw it for the dog to retrieve and catch the food, and especially if you haven't made the holes too large, you're got a lot more flexibility. Get it out of there. 1, 2, 3, out of there. Thank you. Get it out of there. Manners. Good boy. Get it out. Good boy. He gets a little distracted and unaware of his surroundings sometimes. He's walked into walls while he's playing this game. One of the reasons I know he really is into this game. Because, even years on, he'll still get so fixated that he walks into a wall while playing this game. At least he doesn't run into the wall anymore. He used to run into the wall when he would be throwing it around. Some dogs will pick it up and drop it and pick it up and drop it to dislodge treats. And if you make it a bit harder, they'll do more of that behavior. Again, this one, the hole in the entry is a bit enlarged, so. And that's totally on me. I cut it big initially. I had bigger kibble, though, at the time, in my justification. Now my kibble is like a third of the size, so I'll never understand society's obsession with making smaller and smaller kibble. Frankly, people would be better off if all of the kibble they fed was in like a cookie or biscuit form, so that the dog was actually forced to at least chew the damn stuff. I know we have like this bizarre paranoia about dogs choking, and I mean, yes, theoretically dogs can choke. It's not common, but it happens, and it's not good, obviously. If it happens, especially at the wrong time, it can definitely be lethal. So it's obviously something you want to avoid, and that's one of the reasons I always feed supervised. I don't believe in feeding unsupervised. It's not reasonable in my opinion. But some people, they have to, they need to, whatever. It's not my animal. It's not my call. Not my life. But realistically, dogs don't choke that much. Like, if you ask your vet, they're gonna tell you they don't get that many dogs in for choking. Like, it happens, and I suppose if you went to an emergency vet, you're likely to find more than your average vet probably deals with. But it's not so much to be common. It's actually pretty unusual, and it's more like it occurs more frequently. Benny, what are you doing? What? You gonna give? Thank you. Big goof. You gonna give your toy? Thank you. Good boy. I guess I can do one more. So, I will come back in a second and show you that.